Hey, you know I can see you, right? Drop the Cheerios and no one gets hurt.
Hey, what is up guys? I'm KBHD here, and you've heard of Nest, right? They're a company that's one of many that make a home security camera. I've been a Nest user for a couple of months, so I have a couple of their home security cameras. I have their thermostats, and I have some of their smoke detectors, so obviously it makes it easy to keep it all in one place, in one app. It's not perfect. There are definitely some minor annoyances, but there are also some really well thought out features to it. But now their newest camera's come out, and it's called the Nest Cam IQ. So shout out to Nest for sending a few of these over to the studio and helping me make this video. It has a 4K sensor, an updated design, and some new internals, and a new price tag. So naturally the question is it worth it? This little guy over here, it's 300 bucks. And also a lot of its best features go hand in hand with a monthly subscription called the Nest Aware subscription. So it's definitely not cheap. So what exactly are you getting with this thing? Well, the design, first of all, is pretty clean, as you can see, the matte white look. And there's always the argument with a security camera in an office with a lot of obviously very expensive gear like this. Do you hide the security camera out of sight, like up in a corner somewhere, to secretly get footage in case anything happens and you need it? Or do you put it like right in the doorway, right in the field of view, so you know it's there to discourage anything from happening in the first place? I chose the second option. As you can see, it's been in previous videos. It's pointed right at the doorway. You walk in, you know you're on camera. But at least it's not ugly. So a lot of security cameras are really unattractive, but you might have seen it blend in the background. I'd consider it a pretty modern two-tone panda design. It has that Eve from WALL-E type of look. It's got a swiveling head, it connects to power via USB Type-C, which is again modern, and you can mount it to the wall pretty easily if you want to also, so this thing is pretty clean. And then the main headlining feature of Nest IQ is the 4K sensor, which actually needs some explaining. Technically, yes, there is a new 4K sensor inside the camera, as well as all the processing power and hardware to support it, but it is not constantly recording 4K security camera footage at all times. That would be a little insane. It is recording at all times in 1080p. But because it is a 4K sensor, anytime you want to zoom in up to 4 times on anywhere in the frame, you can do that without losing any quality, and it will continue to be full 1080p even though you've zoomed in without losing anything. That's the main benefit of having the higher resolution sensor. So then the Nest Cam IQ, as you can probably tell by the name, is trying to be really smart with all this new hardware. So it has a bunch of smart features to take advantage of having this new 4K sensor, has facial recognition, all this stuff. So the normal full field of view for the camera is 130 degrees using the whole sensor, super wide angle as you can tell. Looks like your normal security camera footage, but obviously really, really crisp and clear. Zoom in 4 times on any part of the image and you can see it keeps its quality 100%. It's basically lossless zoom. And then you can keep zooming way in all the way to 12 times on the live feed if something's really getting your attention and you want to check it out. Now, let's say someone walks into the frame. Nest Aware recognizes faces and humans and will sort of zoom in a bit and follow and track that person around the frame as they move. It follows them around. Usually with pretty decent success. Sometimes if you move fast enough, it can sort of lose the subject, but I've had no complaints about this. It makes sense to follow the action. And then those of you who are familiar with Nest will know about the notifications already, so I have mine set to turn off whenever I get here, and then turn back on whenever I leave. So if I'm out and it detects some motion, it'll send a notification to my phone, actually with a little clip of what I just saw, which is pretty convenient. The funny thing is probably like 95% of the time on the old Nest Cam, probably like 99% of the time, it's just like a random sunlight change or a leaf blowing outside of a window. It would just send notifications for random things that weren't humans. And I could set these hot zones where it's specifically monitoring that one zone, but I just kind of left it on and got a lot of spare notifications. But Nest Cam IQ has been really good for me about not sending me all those spare notifications and just notifying me when it sees unknown faces or unknown humans in the frame. Because it's using facial recognition, it can tell when it's a human and when it's just a blob or something else that it doesn't have to worry about. And then on top of that, you can set what's called familiar faces. So instead of notifying me about an unknown human every time it sees something, you can tell it to remember certain faces so it knows and can put in the notification if it's a trusted person entering. So that makes perfect sense for a studio like this. If someone who works here walks in, their face is recognized and it notifies my phone and has the person's name already. I don't have to worry about it. The weird thing is it doesn't let me turn on notifications for unknown faces and turn off notifications for known faces. It still notifies me every time a person walks in, but I'll know quicker if it's someone unknown or not. Seems like a pretty obvious thing they could add to the software, right? If it's not a known face, I want to know. If it's a known face, I don't really care. But otherwise, yeah, everything about this camera is better than the previous version. Better microphone array, louder speakers for talkback. The camera itself is not waterproof, so it can't be your outdoor cam, but maybe they'll make a 4K version of that in the future. Overall though, this thing fits nicely into their ecosystem of products. So my consensus on this little guy is it's really similar obviously to previous Nest cameras, but a little bit better in every way. So if you have a current Nest camera, you probably don't need to upgrade. You probably haven't seen anything here that's gonna make you wanna spend that money. However, if you don't have any security cameras, you don't have a Nest cam, I kinda highly recommend you get something just to be safe. And this kind of fits itself nicely in the premium section of that market. For a lot of people, including myself, who kind of value that peace of mind, I think it's worth it. So that's why I like them. But that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe you'd get one of these or something else. Thank you for watching. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.